Hey guys, new version Psylab 1.3. So this one has been a big, quite a lot of work. So I hope you enjoy. But there's, I think, some cool new stuff. So first, the layout has changed a lot. Now we've got some splitters. First, it has been rewrite for just 8, so it's direct 2D accelerated. Now it's much faster. And we have got new splitters here on the scope, so we can easily scale the scope as we want. And we've got also on the curve editor, so I've tried to make the buttons are darker, so it's more clear on the eyes. But as soon as we move on the toolbar, we can see the menus. And on the curve editor, there is a new option to show or not all the stuff, like if you don't use a lot the vertical zoom on the scaler. Now we can in show hide them. For example, I can hide the zoom vertical, or the zoom horizontal, zoom vertical, and segments, or the segments manager where we choose the shape. So and if we have them on, we can also press here. There is a little icon here to hide, to make full screen or not the curve editor. So this can be handy, especially in the new view. Now there is a new view, which is previously we had curve editor and parameters, and now we have a dual view. So in dual view we see both the curve editor and the parameters, which I think is better for the workflow. So yeah, here if we have segments, it can be a bit tricky to select, so we can hide and have more screen space to work. So yeah, there is this splitter, and there is also in dual mode we can also choose the ratio between the curve editor and the parameters, and in the parameter we can scroll. We can also zoom as before in the on pan in the parameters, and if you don't want to zoom, you can disable this in allow zoom here. So yes, there have been a lot of UI change. I try to make it more minimalist, a bit more simple, I think. And now we can show the scope here, on or off. The keyboard is here, and the master, so we can get more full screen if we want. And on the curve editor, we can also show or hide the presets, templates we drag. Yeah. So I'll read in it. Otherwise, it didn't change a lot. What changed is now on the, if you make a kick, for example, I will init. Here we got also a new icon to quickly load presets. So I need to kick. One thing that changed is on the curve editor. Now on the scope, we have a CV lock option, and if it's on, it means they both will be synchronized. So if you have a look at the curve, the scope will have the same length, so it's easier to check the stuff. And if we unlink, we get the duration we set here. So here it's they are both independent, and if they are linked, they will both synchronize. So if I edit stuff on a curve, I can really see nicely on the scope. And if you change curve and the curve has another direction, it will adapt. So this can be set here, or this icon here. Here it's unlink, here it's link. On the curve there is a new lock button, and if it's lock, previously it was always in lock, but when you wanted to scale, if the curve was not long enough and you wanted to scale, it changed the relationships, the sound. So now if it's locked, you can extend the curve, and it will preserve the timing, the relative timing of the curve. So One thing to know is if you use the buttons, for example here I extended, I want to get back to 1 bit, so 4, it's okay. With an 8 I can, but if I want to go lower, it will tell me the last point on the curve is greater than the time I want to get. So if I proceed, I will have to, because this point is more than 112. So if I really want, either I should clear this point, if I clear, I can get now to 112, or it will have to scale the curve and this will change the relationship. But yeah, also I moved a bit the pitch. If you are on the pitch envelope, we have the min and max settings here, and we can drag also. And same here, if by default it will change the maximum, so it will change the sound if I scale. But I will undo. If we press shift, it will extend the curve, and when we release, it updates. We extend the curve with preserving relationship. Or we can double click and choose if we extend the curve, so we keep the same sound, or if we change the scale. So if I say compensate the scale and I want to extend to, here it's 96, but it's too much, so maybe I will go 72 semitones. It will reduce the curve, but preserve the timing. This, okay. So yeah, we got a new view. It's much faster. DirectX. Nothing special to do here. So yeah, maybe check in preference. Also, I have changed the layout so that so now everything is more at the bottom. We've got all the toolbar at the bottom, the sound selector here, and the curve selector here. I find it's better because we have more screen space on top to visualize the stuff. But if you really prefer the older layout which had button here, you can go in about, and in UI you can layout tip, take the legacy layout. So legacy layout was more like this with the tab here, the sound selector here. But yeah, personally I prefer the new layout, but it's a matter of test. So I will revert back to the new layouts. Okay. While we are here, so check, I recommend to set OpenGL off. If it's off, it uses Direct 2D. By default, it should be Direct 2D, I think, when you install. But if you, yeah, it should be much faster than OpenGL, I think. I know, yeah, we can now scale. I won't scale here because it would mess the recording, but we can scale both the interface as we want in X or Y. Previously, it was always a proportion locked. You can choose if you want UI to be, the aspect ratio to be locked or not. And by default, you will have the tooltips. I recommend to set them off when you are used to, if you know Psylab, it's slow down for nothing. But yeah, so that's it. Okay, so I think on UI, most stuff is done. So now we have a new, I've made a few videos, maybe you've seen it, but we've got a new phase alignment. The big stuff is automatic phase alignment. So let's say I have a kick here, and if I, or maybe I will load the preset, it will be easier. Yeah, this one. The bass sound like shit, but anyway. So when we make a kick on the pitch envelope, if we move a node, it will change phase after the node, because this is after the point. So now we've got a new triangle here. We can set it where we want to be the phase to be re-triggered. So we can zoom, we can decide, okay, here I want the phase to be at 0. And we double click to enable, and it will automatically compute each time the sound is regenerated, it check at what phase it is and it compensates. So now if I tweak, it readapts automatically to the position. So we don't have to manually. Previously we would manually adjust the phase here. This kind of automatically change the phase start of the oscillator. And once we're done, we can disable it and double click because it will commit it to here. And it's recommended because it checks less often. And also now we have automatic key track. So same here, I thought this was maybe the most because when you think of it, if you phase and key track your kick to your bass, there is a point in time where you want to phase into the bass and the key track to occur. So the same marker here can be used to key track. If we go in key track, by default it will be key track, so that means if we change note, the whole kick will change. But let's say on the bass I made some melodies. So here we see we are not phase aligned. But if on the kick I put the same note, it works in MIDI also. If you are in the DAW, it's the same. You put the same note on the kick. So now we can see it will automatically apply the key track, but after the marker. So we preserve all the characteristics of the input kick. And so yeah, this can be set here in key track tip after marker. If that was off, that would do like this. The whole kick will change and the phase is completely messed up. So now we can have this. So this looks simple, but it was quite tricky. And but I think it's a nice implementation because it's easy. You just look on the scope where you want to phase and you enable it. And yeah, even if it's off, once it's set, if this is on, it will get track. Okay, what else? So new dual view, automatic phase rallying. We have a new poly mode. I think how to say? Yeah, we'll in it and one will show. Okay, it's a bit complex, but so probably Psylab was a mono voice. Each sound here was a mono voice, and if we play, there can be only one note at a time. But now I've made a system where we can enable poly mode. So first I will explain a bit. Here I simplified the menu. By default it's in minimal mode. Here there are several modes. On previously it was maximal mode. So maximal mode you get all the effects. We can darken if they are off or not. So previously it was always like this. But for the eyes, maybe it's some people, I think newbies, especially new people to Psylab, were a bit afraid of the shit tons of parameters. Personally, I know it, so I'm not afraid. But for a good introduction for newbies, there is this minimal plus chain mode. And in fact, it enables only what we activate here. And if we show the wires, we show the routing wires. So this goes from the oscillator to the AB, between the oscillator to the amp section, then it goes to the distortion, the smooth, and finally to the output. If I were to, as we can affect the routing in Psylab, I can move this before the distortion, and now the passage change. Here it's a shortcut for to fold or unfold the stuff, or we can also double click here. So yeah, it's a bit easier on the eyes and less freaking out people, I think. So yeah, but me, I know what I do, so I will go full maximal mode so I see everything. Maybe I will remove the wire. So yeah, poly stuff is, so we had one voice. And now we can pan the voice at the end. Even if the voice is mono, all the patch will be computed in mono, but at the end we can pan. We have a new pan here and we pan. Sorry, can pan on the left or on the right. So that if we want to make stereo, we can duplicate this voice, this sound to another slot, and pan one left and one right. So I made a system for this. It's in global. Now we've got new poly mode. So 4x, 4x unlink means they are all independent. And if we choose poly 4, there is a text that will explain. Basically, it will clone the sound we are on to the 4 parts. And then if we move a parameter on sound 0, it will remote all the other sounds. So they are slave to the sound 0. But the cool thing is then we can unlink some parameters. So I will show the first simple way is you can, if you have a mono sound, you can press make stereo here. So if I press make stereo, it will have pan this voice left and create a copy here, which is pan right. And you see they are darkened out. It means they are slaves. They are the same parameter. But if we right click, we can unlink some parameter. So the one on it unlinked by default the tuning. So they are slightly detuned. So let's say maybe we don't hear on the scene, but I will pick a saw. Maybe. So this is mono, and this is also mono, but on the other, I only got one ear, so I can't hear it. But I think you can hear it. The other voice is on the right. And also I made a system so that now every part got it already at this. There is a MIDI channel, but the internal sequencer can remote. If they have same, let's say on the 0, I make a sample sequence. It will trigger this sound because it's on channel 1, and also this sound because it's also on channel 1. So that means we've got now a stereo sound because this one has lower a bit. They have a different spread. So yeah, now if I go on this voice, I could maybe also choose that this voice I want to be it 1 octave higher. So first I will filter it because it's ruining my eye. Okay. So here they both get the filter. But now on this sound I can decide that it will be 1 octave higher. So I can right click on the octave and bring it higher. I can't hear it. I hope you hear it. But it will be 1 octave higher. So that's basically at any point you can right click to unlink a parameter and it creates stereo. So that's a simple one, and in it I think I will make a separate video for Polymode because there's a lot of stuff to talk. But basically now we have also a dispatcher. That means that if we have a note that plays on the keyboard until receiving a new note, it can decide to send this voice to the next available sound. It spreads the voice and it can kill the oldest notes. I will make a special video because it's a subject on its own. But if you want to test, you can have a look. It's quite fun. Polymode. So now we got also a new audio input. So the way it works, it's an oscillator mode. So here I'm on a standalone, but in the VST, if you drop the VST, you will have a sidechain input. And you can decide to pick a track to route to Psylab. That means that we can have any VST with your bass. If you want to make your bass on another VST, for example, we can bring the audio to Psylab and to show it on the scope and process it. So I will make. I have made a video. I invite you to check the video. But here basically, so here we won't hear it because I'm on standalone. But basically, you just go on audio and on the engine, you choose audio in. So now the audio input, it's like if the oscillator was the audio input. So by default, if you don't hear stuff, you still have to have a note. So you can just make a single note here and choose infinite here. So it's like it's infinitely playing. Because I'm not sure yet, because maybe I will make a mode simpler where it's always on. But it can be interesting also because we could have, say, a pad that enter in, and we could use the notes to trigger envelope, to trigger the ADSR and gate the sequence, for example. So this one I'm not sure yet, but we can get audio input. And that's cool, yeah, because it will be on the scope, and we can, for example, phase align as we saw with the kick with the bass or stuff. Okay, I will in it. What else new input? We have new sampler loop points. So on the sampler. So yeah, first I will show maybe the bigger stuff. It's we got new drop. Psylab was already able to generate kicks from reference files, but now I've made it. I worked a lot on the engine, and it's really efficient and easier. Is you just pick a file from your Explorer, and you can drop it on the interface. And now we have 5 menus, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the simple load to oscillator A or B, load the ref file, just load the ref file. And now we have the generate kick, which was the previous version, but simplified. And we can split to the high frequency on the sub to an oscillator. We can split to a sound, so I will explain, and we can split in linear phase. So previously we had just the generate kick. Now I've made this system is where you enter this, you got filter option, if you filter it or not. So if you can test, sometimes it's better to filter a bit. If you have noise on your kick and you want only the sub, it can be good to filter. I've made this as a default, but we can try to, for example, no filter. So I will move on no filter. Then it opens this UI, and I can select the range. If my sample was too big, we can decide to select the range. Here I've got no note on the sequencer, but if there was not, I could listen to it. And we can press OK import. And now it generated the amplitude envelope with the minimum number of points. And as it's Bezier, we see we have a really low number of points. And the pitch envelope also got 3 points. And I can guarantee you that if we press here, this is the reference. So we see the reference has got some hi-hat. Here, as we generate the sub, we don't have the hi-hat. But we can see how close it is with while having only the sub. So yeah, this is cool because we got. I really worked hard on the vectorized engine. And now, so yeah, imagine we wanted to have that hi-hat part. We can do something different if we can use to split. So split, I will use the default here. I keep the same length, OK import. Split, now on the, if I go on parameters, it has splitted, the sub is on the oscillator A, on the talk, the tick, the attack, the highs are on oscillator B. So when we combine them, we got kind of the equivalent of the original sound. We can have still slight fuzzy sub, but because I wanted to still give room. We have room here because in fact it loaded the sampler automatically and it created an high pass because now we have got new per oscillator filter. So basically that's the original sample but with an high pass. But now as it's in Psylab, we can drag and drop a curve if we want to automate, or we can change the high pass, and we have got the sub here. So basically it splitted the the two things. And we see the envelope is only on the sub, but yeah, I think you get the idea. So this is the split, but here it's split on same sound per oscillator. There's another mode which is probably more modular, is split layers. So I do the same but here. Okay, import. And now it's splitted by sound. The sub is here and the mid is here. So now we can have a full chain of effect. First we see them on the scope, which is nice. We can see the layers if we are in layers, and we can fast them or tweak. Or so yeah, here it's by sound. First sound will be your sub, and second sound will be your mid. And yeah, I can show even some, like I picked some Nilix kick I had from 10 years ago, but it's a good test I think because it's kind of acoustic and it's hard with some variation on the envelope, and it's still so this is the recreated sound, and if we are with ref, this is the original. So it changed, but honestly we can't really hear it. On the goal, I think the goal is not to clone it as it, because otherwise we would just assume. The goal is to get the minimum number of points so we can tweak. Now we can tweak, yeah, it got more points, but it's a decent number of points, and we can clean a bit, but we can still tweak as we want. So that's the goal. So yeah, and then there is a final mode which is linear phase. So linear phase, here it created an high pass, and we can tweak it. It's done real time. We have control. We can add envelope, or if we go linear phase, it will render a linear phase filter to a file. So it asks us where we want to save the file. I say okay. It add eyes. I say okay. Okay, I can't save here because okay, import. I will save it to desktop document Psylab. Yeah. Now it created. It did the same kind of split. So the sum on the mid, and we can see it. For example, on the mid, we could have enable the amplitude envelope and move and change if we keep only the, well, you get the idea. But now yeah, it filtered, it's the sample as the filter rendered in, it's in the sample. So I think it's less modular, but I've still made this mode in case we need extreme phasing precision between some stuff. But yeah, I think the most interesting mode is this one or this one. You get the idea. It depends on what you want to achieve, but this one is pretty cool. So yeah, as we are here, I can maybe show for the sampler. So I will init the wall patch. Yeah, for the sampler, let's say we can use load oscillator A, and well, it's not the bass. I don't have bass here. Okay, anyway, I will simulate this is the bass. So I can pick this this section, for example. And we can crop it first. So sometimes I recommend, because if we don't crop, it will keep all the lengths, and we got less precision when we tweak the loop. So imagine I'm okay with this. I can press crop. It add a crop name. I resave. So now this is the sample, and I import. And now it loaded it on the sampler. And previously we could only and it makes a bit like a bass, but it's a kick. If we previously we didn't have loop, and now on the if we show the extender editor, we've got a new loop here. So we can adjust it here, but it's more easy on the extended editor. So if I show the extended editor, here we can double click to enable the loop and snap to zero crossing, and we can have you get the idea. The sample will play. If we hold the note, it will loop this section, and then on release the note, it plays the end. So this is kind of cool because we can really, if we are shameless, we can sample bass and reuse them. And there is even a more powerful mode now is, we could vectorize the waveform. So for example, I will do it. Here I can press calculate curve. It will generate some points for the basic curve. So I do it quick here. There is some video you can check. And if I press 2 oscillator, it will create an oscillator basic curve with as close as possible to the samples. And the cool thing is now if we go to the Bezier oscillator, we can use the one shot, and it's same as if it was a sample. So same here, we can have the loop also working in the Bezier oscillator. We see here now we got a loop. So basically that's like if it was a sample, but it's a Bezier curve. So we can fully tweak the curve as we want, and it will be a Bezier oscillator. So that's kind of nearly all the new sample, the new preset I will upload here will use this technique because it's quite powerful. Okay, next stuff I need to explain. Move on. Sampler, circuit scope. Oh yeah, menu to generate kick. Master, on master limiter we got it's a small thing, but we can now double click to enter values, use mouse wheel, or if we click here, we switch on or off, and if we drag, we can directly scale the threshold. And yeah, attack we can enter in. We can use mouse wheel and double click to enter values. We've got no soft clip mode, so in the soft clippers, there is one for soft clipper. Previously it was only a soft clip. Now we can choose if it's hard clip, soft clip, drive or gain. So it can be shown in the chain if we want to add some gain staging somewhere. It can act as a gain also, or hard clipper. Small thing. New OSC. Yeah, so the OSC filters I explained. We got some. I will show in minimal mode for now. On the oscillator, we got the new filter here. That means it's off, but we have 35 modes now. We have got all the LPs, HP, bandpass, notch, low shelf, high shelf, and all pass. That can be cool if we need to phase one of the two oscillator. Yeah, this can be automated. So if you want, you can just drag the field. Let's say I'm going low pass. We can just drag a filter curve to the frequency, and in the matrix it will have assignated the curve. So now, yeah, and it can be, so there can have different filter per oscillator on top of the master filter that will act on both or not. You decide. Yeah, what stuff? So the UE minimal mode I'll explain. We can now scale also on the directly scale on the. I will load the kick maybe. We can directly scale the waveform via mouse click. And on the menu we have a new freeze mode. So it will freeze the scope, and if we right click, we can bounce to wave for the registered user. Directly bounce to wave. And all the menu can now have the mouse wheel to adjust the stuff. What's new? Cursor. Yeah, so on same now here there is a menu for layers, sum, sound or not, or we can quickly use the mouse wheel to change. The anti-aliasing has been changed. It was in master section. It's simplified. There is no more linear phase because it was making latency. It's simpler and more efficient. So personally, I prefer to set off. It's less CPU, but if you go really high on the frequency, you can maybe test 2x or 4x. There's a new declicker option also. So as voice are mono, if a new voice is retriggered, it can fade first the old note before triggering the new note. So this is an option in about audio engine declick samples. So the bigger, the smoother the fade, but you get then a bit of latency because the new note will start later on. So I think 48 is good compromise. What else? LFOs can pick a new. Now on the LFOs, so I'll show the LFOs. I've made them smaller, simpler by default. Is just a wave. So we got a wave or mode if it's LFO envelope retriggered, the speed, etc. And if we really want more, we open more. We can shift, adjust smooth, attack the scene when it's random, the phase warp, amplitude warp, and phase warp. But now the cool thing is we can, if we use the custom CV, for example, the oscillator the LFO can pick a curve. For example, here I pick the last curve. This is now the shape of the LFO. So if I go to we can see it here, it's the shape of LFO, and we can rate it the rate we want. It's not more the rate of the curve. But previously we could only do this for this sound. It means the curve is from this sound. Now we can choose to be from another sound. Here's the source. When itself it's the curve of this sound, but we could use another curve, another sound. Why I made that is because if we want to make like crossfade, for example, you have your kick on a second layer and you want to crossfade from one to another, it can be cool to have the curve synchronized so that if you change the crossfade, the other sound will have the crossfade inverted. I hope you see what I mean. So with this, it allows us to, if we have an amplitude on sound 1, we can get it here, invert, and it will make the crossfade. I'll make an example video, but I think you get the idea. That's small thing. And yeah, I think that's mostly the big stuff. It's quite powerful now. So I hope you enjoy, and if you have questions, let me know. Bye.